It's your boy Rick Muhammad. I'm back. Brawler Sports Media. I got Deontay's main man trainer, JD's. This is the man that discovered Deontay Wilder in 2005 out of all the gyms, which there may not be many here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama area, but this tall, frail kid, 19 years old, walks into your gym, Jay, and you're thinking to yourself, hey, what, the basketball court is down the street?
Yeah, he was tall, but he wasn't frail. He was he's a strong guy. He was thin. He was only probably about 195 pounds, but he was so athletic. So I knew he passed the look test. Okay. So when you walked in, you're like, oh, okay, this is an athlete. And then it was just a matter of seeing what he wanted to do and how serious he wanted to be and what he wanted to do with it.
Right. And then after I spoke with Deontay, he said once he was brought to your gym, he heard the sounds of the bags hitting and the background noise and guys jumping rope. Heavy bag is pop, 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 speed bag. And he said he knew then that this is what he wanted to do. And the rest is history. You guys went on 2007. He beat the #1 guy that was supposed to win the National Golden Gloves, the USA Boxing Championship #1 guy. He beat them. He represents the U.S. in 2008 in Beijing, gets the bronze medal. What are you thinking to yourself now when this kid walks in and then 2 years later you guys are dominating the amateurs and on the way to the Olympics the next year?
Well, it was crazy because, we were primarily a professional gym. We had pro fighters. We had been 10 years in the business. We've been all around the world. And so Deontay walks in, and, now we got to get involved really with the amateur game, which we haven't really done. We had amateur guys, but it was only amateur to turn pro. Just give them enough amateur experience and turn them pro. But Deontay, all of a sudden, he's winning the state, then he's winning the regionals, and so on. Keep going because there's a shot here. We actually had to look up how do we qualify for the Olympics? What are the steps? Yeah, we didn't know. We were in none of their camps. Yeah. We were not on their radar. We were in none of their rankings. We were in none of their protocols.
You had to contact them.
We were out of left field. We were like that guy that came, completely out of space. And then, but they can't deny you if you keep winning. So Deontay won the USA National Championship, the Golden Gloves National Championship. He got invited to the trials, and then of course he won the trials. And so there was no denying where he was and what he could do.
No turning back. And now a lot of people don't even know. People are like, I read articles about JD's, and they're like, who is JD's? I was like, who is JD's? But I did my research as a good journalist and an analyst should do. And JD's, people don't know that he and his brother they were the only promoters here in Alabama for a long time. And then when they built Sky Boxing Gym in 1995, they built it with the mentality of bringing in local fighters, using their promotion to throw shows and to develop these kids, and then they turned pro and had an outlet where they could move them. Tell us a little bit about that, Jay, because nobody knew you was a boxing promoter and all of these things.
Nobody had done a boxing show for 11 years prior to our first show. So it had been an 11-year gap. So it wasn't like the public was clamoring for it. We were really kind of just starting off, and hopefully just through our passion, it would carry over and people would get excited about it. So we're at the gym, and I'm sparring everybody, and we're all working out together. This is 10 years before Deontay came along. And so we're all sparring and working out, but nobody's doing anything. There's no shows. There's no, nothing. Right. And so I said, I'm going to do one show. I was 26 years old. I was that young. I want to do one. I just want to do one show and see what happens. I did the first show, and it was just a small club show. Yeah. But the calls started coming in 5 o'clock the next morning. When you doing another one? That was awesome. Yeah. And so I knew then, okay, here we go. So there were ups and downs. There were shows where we lost a fortune. Yeah. There were shows where we had a tornado. We had an ice storm. We had everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Setback after setback.
But we just kept persevering. And we, even to this day, and Deontay helps with the shows now. Yeah. Even to this day, we do club shows, non-TV, non-casino club shows to help out the younger fighters coming up. Yeah. And see, people don't know that about Deontay, but he has invested in the next generation.
Display that young talent and take at heart what they doing. They're our future, these children. Yeah. One last thing, real quick, Jay. Now, you used to be a baseball coach baseball player. You was a pitcher. Yes. And you pitched at Tuscaloosa Central High as well.
Yes, Deontay's high school.
Deontay's high school, which was in 2004 when Deontay graduated.
Yeah, 87 when I graduated.
Oh, he's telling his age now. So now I also read that you was awarded the Coach of the Year by the Olympic Committee.
Right.
What year was that?
2007.
2007. Now, before you was doing the boxing promotion and decided to open up Sky Boxing Gym, Jay, have you ever boxed yourself before, ever?
Yes.
You have boxed before. So and then you just picked it up that you wanted to start training and
Well,
moving
I was,
kids.
I was the resident. My brother was a trainer,
Okay.
and I was the kind of promoter and manager.
Okay.
And I was the resident sparring partner. I sparred everybody that came in. I had a handful of amateur fights, no huge, long amateur career like a lot of guys. I was just in the gym sparring every amateur, every pro, everybody that came through. And so what happened was my brother got a promotion at his job. So now here I am. What do? I looked around for somebody that I thought we could bring in as a trainer.
Yeah.
I didn't find anybody I liked. So I said, I've been in this long enough. I can do this, but I want to do it my way. Not necessarily just my brother's way, but my way. So I went and talked to Ronnie Shields, a good friend of mine out in Houston.
Shields, Texas, yep.
And Ronnie showed me some things. I took a ton of notes. He invited me in his house. He really didn't have to, but he didn't know me, but he did. And my friend in Italy, Sambu Kalambe, who was a world champion WBA middleweight.
Yes.
He showed me a lot of things. I came back. I put my program together, wrote it in a notebook. Okay, this is what I believe. This is how I'm going to do things. And the first real guy in the door, Deontay Wilder.
That was the SOP, standard operating procedure book that JD's put together. And it's been rolling ever since. You guys turned pro 2009, won the title 2015. Deontay's been inducted he was inducted in March 2015 into the Alabama Hall of Fame, Boxing Hall of Fame.
As an amateur.
As an amateur, right. With the legendary Brown Bomber Joe Louis, who was from Lafayette, Alabama. How cool is this? Deontay's an amateur getting put into the Alabama Boxing Hall of Fame.
Our Hall of Fame started 1 year ago. And 2017 was the first class.
Right.
And we only induct one person per year per category. So Joe Louis was the first to get inducted as a pro.
Okay.
Deontay was the first to get inducted as an amateur. Now, and we got 3 other categories.
And he says Holyfield's coming.
Holyfield has been inducted as a pro this year. Byron Mitchell, who's a WBA, he's been inducted as an amateur.
Okay.
I expect next year's induction, it'll be a close one, the way I look at it, between Frankie Randall from Birmingham. And Ernie Shavers from near Greensboro.
Randall was nice.
Boxing people don't know.
Yeah, them Bama boys.
Well, think about the punchers that have come from Alabama. You got Shavers, you got Wilder, you got Joe Louis, you got Holyfield.
Yep.
These guys can all crack. There's something in the water in Alabama, I'm telling you.
So there you go.
I'm gonna tell you one more thing. I'm just saying, you got me going.
I got to go. That's why you couldn't get D to shut up.
Do you know what Tuscaloosa stands for?
I do not. That part I should have gotten. Tell me.
It's an Indian word. The chief was called Chief Tuscaloosa, or some variation thereof. Today's they say Tuscaloosa, but what they called him was something close to that. So people made it into Tuscaloosa. He was a chief, an Indian chief, a Native American, and I believe, don't hold me to this, 1500s. And he was extremely tall for his time. Okay. Most guys 5'3", 5'4". This guy's saying, by today, what people say, anywhere from 6'4" to 7 feet tall is what people say. They say he could ride a horse and his feet would drag the ground. Right. So anyway, very tall, very dark complected for the time for his people. So he was a giant, and he was dark complected, and he was a warrior. So Tuscaloosa literally translates into Black Warrior.
Black Warrior.
Now, the river, which is less than 100 yards from this gym, is called the Black Warrior River.
Black Warrior River.
And now you've got the heavyweight champion, who's tall for his weight class.
Black Warrior.
And the Black Warrior
from
Tuscaloosa, which means Black Warrior.
Black Warrior.
It's
like an Indian chief. He's like the chief.
It's a lot. He's like the chief of the heavyweight division.
He's like the chief.
So that's something that's an amazing how that works.
So that's a hell of a torch for Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
And to have Deontay Wilder here.
And there's only one Tuscaloosa in the world. There's no other city in the world named Tuscaloosa.
Well, there you go. Hey, it's your boy Rick Mohammed. I want to thank my man JD's whole team Wilder, Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight champ, Mark Breland, for bringing me out here. Let me do this exclusive interview. I had a ball. I think we had some good progress here, don't you think, Jay?
Oh yeah.
DJ, he go, oh. Yo, we out, baby. March 3rd. Get your tickets. Barclay Center, Brooklyn, New York. Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz. I'm gonna be there. You guys should be there.
I'll be there.
We out, baby.